going to invite all my ladies to join me. Here. Let's see if I can tell this right. And send them. Let's see. I don't think that was right at all. Uh-oh. Where am I? Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. And let's send that to everybody.
Hello?
Hey, girl.
Hey.
I'm inviting all the rest of the ladies. Give me 2
Oh,
seconds.
okay. I just want to tell you something real quick.
Yeah,
I'm traveling on the bus for like 2
yeah,
hours.
I
Oh, you
remember.
remember?
I
Okay,
remember.
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
definitely. Hold on 1 second.
okay.
You see my message?
Mhm. Listen, you doing great from our end.
Honey, let me tell you about this here. The retrograde situations. You got
Mm.
to have everything on deck.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that invites everybody. But let me see if I'm gonna talk to them in the other one too.
Mhm.
Let's see. Jasmine, what Jasmine say? I don't see it. I gotta show my face on the cam. I'm watching now. Okay. Let me see if Jasmine, let me see if I can just let's see if I can add direct. Okay. Let's see. Everybody's like, oh, we can see, but we can't get in.
If they could see that, mean they in, right?
No, because like I can
Oh.
see you. I can physically, like I can see you. I can't see anybody else who's saying that they can see the video, but they can't.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So
Is it
okay, so Jackie's here.
all right?
All right, let's see. Because I know Jackie needs to share within these next few minutes, right, Jackie?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Oops. Okay, because it even has you all as being recorded right now. So it has you on both sides. Okay, so Shay is having issues logging on. Let's see if I can just get her on. All right. Jackie, since we have two people on, let's go ahead and share. Because both y'all. So Jackie, you were asking something before I put my phone down and computer. We were kind of chatting a bit.
I was just asking if it like sharing was necessary. Like I don't have to if it wasn't a part of the class is all I was saying.
Yeah, so I invite an even number of people so that we can share with one another. Like, because there's going to be a point where you all like do readings for each other. So it's really, really good to share with each other because your keywords are going to be important for other people to help like create a string and a line for them to help to remember, right? So for me, everybody, great if everybody shares based on that.
Okay, well Tanisha's the person who we already share, so it's good that it's her on the line with me
Okay,
anyway.
good. Go ahead. I'm still listening. I'm going to get my headphones.
Okay, well, the first card that I drew was the Justice card, and it really kind of blew me away when I drew it because that's the first card I've ever drawn for myself, period. And that's the name of my partner. His name is Justice.
Really?
Yes. And I'm just going to read my notes. I'm not going to get all off into my little tangent, but I'm just reading my notes. I said, I was amazed because my partner's name is Justice and he can be very uncompromising about some things and his sword is very sharp. I said he's also very into the occult and ancient mystery systems and can be very judgmental. I could see nothing but him until I looked deeper.
Okay.
That must be maintained internally and externally to have justice inside and outside of yourself.
Okay.
Then I said that the green parts of his robe represented money to me. I said, or abundance, or the heart.
Oh, the heart. Mm-hmm.
What did I write? Oh, I don't know what I wrote. But justice, excuse me, I said justice isn't always like a bad thing. It's good. It has good complications, but if ignored, things could go, in another direction.
Okay.
And I drew the sun card with the little baby on it.
Yes.
I know. I'm so pumped. I was like, yes, so great.
Right.
I said, I see the innocence to try life and all possibilities that come to me. I said, I am in action mode right now, and my guide, the sun, is shining and showing me the way.
Okay.
I said, I am also young, meaning I have a lot to learn, but I'm eager and ready to do so. I was like, my horse is white, so I will be victorious. I have no blockages. I must ride into my destiny with confidence, and I am protected and supported.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
that's what my little cards meant to me.
Okay. So were you surprised by outside of justice, were you surprised by the sun card?
No, I was happy. If you knew the chapter of my life right now,
Okay.
no, I'm not. I was surprised about that one. Mm-mm.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Okay.
But
Shay says she's still trying.
okay, I feel like I got to dig deeper into that justice card though.
Hey, how you doing? Good.
Where are you
Good
on
one
mute?
11.
Yeah.
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. I was trying to take myself off of mute because I was gonna say, can I go next since
Yes, and that's what
I'm
I was gonna
sitting.
ask. Go ahead and go
Okay.
next.
Um, damn it. Cause oh man, I'm
What
trying to
happened?
get I'm trying to get my notes up on from Messenger or something.
Can you guys
Oh,
see
from
me?
Facebook? Yeah, we can see you. I waved at you when you
Oh,
first came on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Jackie, can wait a minute. I want to read it for myself. I'm sorry. I don't. Somebody else go. I don't have it ready. I'll put myself on mute. I have the book pull up my thing so I can see it.
Are you sure you okay? You don't need to go
Um, Wait a
because of just
minute.
time limitations or anything?
Yeah, well, okay, let me find it real quick. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Okay, so what I was sharing with Jackie and Tanisha earlier was that I want you all to even take notes on other people's readings based on the fact that, for example, Jackie got justice and her mate is named Justice, right? And he has a very sharp sword. So things like that really will come to your mind when you're doing a reading for yourself and help you to not have to use a book to memorize. Like you will get an image of this human being who is Jackie's mate, who is quick with the tongue, who's quick witted, who's super smart, but also is just, he gets right to the point, right? So that's super important as we're trying to like tie in and not use books but use our own inner intelligence and learn our own inner intuitions, because a lot of times spirit will download things to us and it's not always in this logical way. They will show you pictures, they'll give you images, and so that's a wonderful way because tarot is it's all in image form, and that's important to remember. So I wanted everyone will share based on us being able to write notes, because there's going to be something that another sister says that's really going to be like, ah, shit, and everything about that made sense.
Okay, I'm ready now.
You ready? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So my first card I pulled was the Hierophant. How do I?
Yeah.
Hierophant card.
Mhm.
And it's the fifth card from. So first I started off with my notes because this is my first time, So I
Yeah.
was like, from class we learned that the Hierophant is where the emperor goes to seek knowledge. This is a good simple symbol where you're supposed to teach and share in confidence. Deep inner wisdom. The staff is higher knowledge, keys to knowledge. I said, I feel I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. All the classes I'm taking right now are in complete alignment. Even my resources to support me taking the classes. I was just telling a friend the other day, I plan to integrate the information so I can hit the nail every time I have the opportunity to help myself and others.
Yeah.
The idea that the emperor goes to seek knowledge is exactly what I'm experiencing. Not in an egotistical way, but in a way that I understand the value of my input, and so do my peers and elders. My perspective is relatable but slightly unique in a way. I am pretty comfortable with emotions and I'm with my emotions and my analytical self. I'm completely integrated and not shamed by my experiences, which I'm able to show up pretty transparent. I am finally in a place where I'm unapologetically internally confident about my gifts that I bring. These tools from the classes I am taking will help me articulate and express this confidence outwardly.
Mm, that's
Pulling,
important.
yeah, pulling this card as my first card validates my experience, and I am in tune with my higher self. In addition, um, I am willing and capable of reaching higher actionable practicality. So I had a question in reference to when I was pulling. So, well, first I want to tell you how amazing. I had such a good time. It was so, um, I'm not like it was magical for me.
Uh-huh.
I wind up my space was for the bathroom because I have like all of my Orisha and ancestors specific things in my room, and I was thinking about what you said about those things don't really pull into, and I just wanted to see. I wanted to really tap into my higher self, and just be about me. So it was a great experience. I had a really good time. My bathroom is gorgeous, and I love
Mm,
it. So it's an extension of my room.
mm.
But
Okay.
so the question that I had in reference to is that I know that Arisha isn't speaking, but I do want to know how my interpretation of the following fits. So 2018. So 2018 was 2017 was like a really hard year for me. And 2018, I've been on this releasing, healing, and abundance journey.
Mhm.
And right now, I'm in the abundance part of the process. So I did a lot of work, and Jackie's one of my witnesses.
Okay. That's awesome
um,
to have somebody who's a witness in the class. That's dope.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So the 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 path had a strong focus on self care and bringing me closer to Oshun. Today, so I wrote this on the day that I pulled the card. Today, when I looked at the card, the brass is what stood out to me differently than it was on the day we took the class. It was the gold. It was gold. It like I had a different interpretation of it on Sunday than I did, and I noticed that the card was 5 and it's Oshun, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
So I was just saying, wanted to know like how is that like oops, sorry. I wanted to know how was that in relationship to what you told us in class about it not being. I know you didn't say it wasn't related, but I know I'm not.
Right. Okay. So
So
I know exactly what you're saying.
okay.
So when I first started the class, when I was explaining to you that this is a guide from your higher consciousness, right? And if you
Yes.
have certain gifts, then those things will be tied. So for
Right.
me, the my voodoo don't always speak through the tarot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Tarot will have one thing to say because it's basically how I'm behaving and acting and not being right or
Right.
whatever. And
Mhm.
then my voodoo are telling me this is your path. This is what you need to do. They don't give a fuck how I get there.
Right.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? They
Yes.
want you to make sure that so sometimes everything is in sync. And then other times it's like, okay, get your shit now. Get it
Right.
now. And so there are definite times that your higher consciousness is going to help to refer you out to the energies, right? Going to steer you out to the ocean energies and say, look, I need you to
Right.
get more in touch with this right here, because that is how you become more in line with the hierophant within you.
Right.
Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yes, it does. Yes, it
Okay.
does.
All right.
So
Does
with my
anybody else have questions like
oh
that? Or you weren't finished?
I actually did have a question that's in that same vein, but I
Okay.
can wait.
Okay,
so
go ahead, Tanisha.
so my second pull, I did a little bit different. I did it the next day, and it was more organic. And I wrote what I felt first, and then wrote the class notes afterwards.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I love that.
So the first card gave me confidence. Um, because it really validated what was happening, like what's happening in my life in the stage that I'm in right now. And it validated the clarity that I have for myself. You know what I mean? Because for us in the tradition, if you're not initiated, you got to go to somebody else and they got to interpret the messages for you. And they, you know what I mean? So I want to do that for myself in something. You know what I mean? And if you're uninitiated, when you divine, you only have access to yes or no. You know what I mean? So this was huge for me. It was like, yes, you know what I mean? It was really good. So the second one says, the second card that I pulled was the star. So it
really?
Says, yes.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be talking. Go ahead.
Okay. So I wrote, what I see first before I review the notes from the class is abundance. The fertile green land, the beautiful, sorry the bus is so loud, the fertile, wait a minute, the beautiful tree, which represents for me being grounded in how far fruitfulness will reach. The water represents life, and the one gourd pouring into the water and the one pouring into the ground represents the balance and prosperity that comes from reciprocity. Her nakedness represents transparency. You know, if it's too loud, somebody else can read it for me and I'll put myself on mute. Is it too loud?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Her nakedness represents transparency, and the yellow star is her brightness, her light, her strength, and her sharing. And her sharing the light with the others are the white stars and the need to share. Everyone's brightness radiates, and the reciprocity that bounces off every living entity heals and expands, including but not limited to Mother Earth and all of her children. Then for the notes from class, I have spiritual faith, beautiful emotions, fertilizing the things you need to grow, good place to rebuild, beautiful faith in yourself and your surroundings, water, water, beauty, intuition, and feminine energy. Nakedness represents the vulnerability of having that much faith. And I don't even have anything else to say. I think that says it all for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on mute now.
Okay.
As soon as I find it.
Okay. All right, Cray, it's your turn, babe.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So mine was I had already had a reading for myself planned. And so it was the cards that I pulled kind of fell in line with the reading that I had. And so the first card that I actually had a specific question that I wanted to ask. And I kept saying, no, don't ask it. But it was like an internal battle. It was like, just ask it. Like, you want to ask it, go ahead and ask it. So I asked it. And it was, if somebody from my past, are they for me in the future?
Yeah.
And I pulled the Hangman card.
That's hilarious.
Which is actually, I started cracking up laughing, but it was actually perfect because the message that I got is I need to focus on myself. I need to focus on self-love. I need to focus on spirit. I need to be patient. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Because love will come to me when it's ready. And then I noticed in the card the soft face, the look of calmness, even though like hanging from a thread. And it's actually like in I noticed it was like a yoga type position, and I've gotten away from doing yoga. So it was like focus more on that kind of stuff and being in nature and being one with it. And I noticed that, like, even though hanging by a thread, that crown was still fixed. And it was like, wear that crown, like, no matter what position you're in, wear that crown, like, wear it, it's yours. No matter what the situation is, and just wait, be patient. So that was really funny.
And I like the softness. I also love the embodiment of the yoga, right? And the position that he's in, because that's super important in the card. So I think that is very, very important, and something that is rarely seen. Like, people see his little knee out there, but they don't connect with it, right? They don't. How is Jasmine on here twice, Chad? Anyway, so
my computer was tripping. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just had to download the app. Okay.
So, you had to redo everything. Well, Shay was having the same kind of issue. So, but yeah, I think that this is exactly what I'm saying about sharing, right? And being able to have that thread of connection. And now you sharing that with me gives me a whole nother interpretation and layer of the card, of like really being in the moment, really being mindful while you're going through this like pause of transition. It doesn't mean just forget about the shit and be like, well, fuck it. You know what I mean? It means to just totally embody it, be in the moment, understand that you are still in alignment and in intuitive guidance. You know, they haven't necessarily left you alone, but you need to be still. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And I'm totally okay with that. Like, that's the best part. Like, I'm like totally not upset about it. And then my second card that I pulled was the star card.
Got 2 star cards.
I kind of laughed when I pulled that because it went along with the reading that I had before. And Shanna, you could probably be better at explaining to them what these cards mean, but I got the fighting card, the rebel card, and the compassion card.
Okay.
So the rebel card is just like to live your truth and to be natural. The fighting card was just fighting within my inner self, and that kind of went with when I pulled the card. I was going back and forth on if I should ask the question. And the comparison card, the comparison card just make sure I don't compare my magic to other people, which I do a lot. I always, am I as good as that person? Am I going to do it as that person? And when I saw the star card, what came to me was that I am bright. I'm already ready to shine. Don't be afraid to do it. And don't rely on others for my shine. I don't need to be perfect. Be at peace and enjoy it. Enjoy the things around me. Get back to things I love and stop fighting my pureness. I have a big thing with like if someone compliments me, or if I find something pure about myself or something good about myself, I'll counterreact it. I did this when I was in the 3rd grade, so that makes me a horrible person. So that's what I got from the star card.
Okay, so with the star card, it's more teaching you about having faith in your own self-worth. Which I think, if you want to speak on this, Tanisha, because I think that really tied in with a lot of what you were saying, even how it tied into your Hierophant. It was like, have faith in all the things that you are and how you walk, and literally the way that you pulled out every single image, in that card. She lifted herself up, and she used every single symbol as a way to reaffirm herself. She understood that it was spirit reaffirming her. So I don't know if you got that, you know what I mean, when you were listening to hers too, and the way that it connected to yours, but it's like, it's so clear.
I read hers earlier. Okay. So when I read her, kind of like a light bulb had ding for me. Perfect.
Okay, so we can actually see Jackie girl. Yeah, she in the car, y'all. Okay, so Shay and Jasmine, it's y'all's turn. Who wants to go first? Okay, Jasmine, go ahead.
Okay. So let's see. What did I write? So I pulled.
Wait,
Well,
first of all, can we just say, can we get your hair in some bundles? I need 32 inches. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh God. Okay. so the first card I pulled. Well, the first question I asked, because I like to ask questions. I don't like to just pull cards out, which I probably, I probably should have, but I don't know. I like to ask questions first. So I said, I asked the major arcana to give me the guidance that I needed the most right now. And then I changed my question because that's what I do. And I told the cards to reveal to me where I am on the hero's journey, since that's what we were talking about. And so I got the death card.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because a lot of times, like when I want a good like tarot reading or whatever, and I don't really have anybody to go to or something like that, like I have a tarot deck here, and so I might pull something and just kind of go online and see what it's about.
Right.
And or sometimes I'll go online and I don't know if y'all are familiar with like lotustarot.com.
No.
Lotus Tarot. It's just an online, like a little free 6-card pool. And it's usually pretty accurate. It's being that it's online. So, but I always get this card every single time.
Wow. Okay.
And now I'm like, am I stuck on the death or like what's happening? So, funny enough, because the number 13 is really significant in my life. Since I've given birth to my son, like his birthday's on the 13th of April, and his whole birthday, the whole thing adds up to a 13. But you can drop it down to a 4. But I mean, he's April, which is a 4, and his birthday is a 4. I mean, and so everything that is, I'm gonna say everything that's, I guess, powerful or, I would say in alignment with my destiny has a 13 attached to it. And so I remember just here recently, just to give y'all a little, glimpse into that. The last time we had the goddess gathering, which I didn't know how I was going to get to until Jackie called me. And she said, so how are you going to get here or something like that. I don't remember the full conversation, but it ended up being at my place on the 13th of that month.
Wow. Okay.
Because I had not been coming there. And I mean, just random things that'll have a 13 attached to it. So I'm trying to figure out what this means. And I did notice with all this going on this card, that there is a little boat in the water in the background. And so that kind of stuck out to me. Like, I guess as life is a journey itself. Yes, sweetie pie. I will get you a drink, okay? Or you need to get some water. I'll be in there in just a second, okay, sweetie pie? Give me a water. Okay, I will. I'm in class. Okay. So the boat is actually heading towards this scene. It's from what I understand. And so I'm still trying to figure out, like, there's death and there's sadness on here, and people are like begging for mercy from death on here. But I mean, it's like, I also thought that death is a part of life. And even though there's like crosses and everything, like, the boat symbolizes for me that life goes on, I guess. And so
the boat is going to come up actually later on today. Okay. So you're going to get some answers to you're going to get some answers to the boat specifically. But again, what I love, the same thing with you and Cray, is that you saw a symbol that you didn't necessarily see before. And that's the thing that jumped out at you, which I think is important. And you'll see that every time, and it might be a different symbol every time. So you knew the big significant symbols, but then there were still these little tiny ones in there that still had something to say to you, right? And so the boat, not only is it on the water and the water of your emotions, moving you forward, taking you through that transition of death. Those are all the symbols in tarot that are very, very consistent. Water being your emotions. Like you said, the boat is definitely forward movement and leaving the past behind. Okay. So that's really, 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 really important for you. And so if you've asked where you are in the hero's journey, what does that say to you?
I don't know because I keep getting this card. Not that I've asked that particular question. You know, the other times I pulled this card, but I'm just like, you know, in my head, the first thing I thought of was like, okay, how many times do I have to die before I rise up, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that's been my struggle, just understanding that part because I'm like, okay, what more do I have to get rid of? What more do I have to shed? What more do I have to let go? And I think it's honestly there are things where I'm just like I'm doing too much.
Okay.
And I know that for a fact, but I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what needs to go and what needs to stay. Does it all have to go, or I don't know.
And so when you did your second card, did you ask another question, or was this the only one you did?
I asked another question.
Okay, what was your next question?
My other question was, let's see. I said, what card can give me the inspiration that I need to get the most out of making positive changes in my life as a parent?
Wonderful. So then you started to ask what the four moves. So the next thing that I do whenever I pull something that I'm not sure of, ladies, is I'll say, well, what's going on in my consciousness? What's going on in my subconscious? So I may have a whole shitload of cards in front of me, but if I see one that ain't fucking right, I pull that mug to the side and then I'll pull other cards directly on top of that card. Let me know what the hell is going on, because y'all stalking me with this death. I don't need y'all knocking at my door every damn day. If I'm at work, if I'm at school, if I'm on the bus, like I don't need that. So what is it that I do to forward my movement? You did the perfect thing by asking, now what next though, bruh? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do? Yeah.
And I was just very confused, but I wrote down something anyway. So I got the Lovers.
Okay.
And so I don't know if that just means like there's something that needs to come together.
No, you just said you do too damn much. They are asking you to be in balance. Remember, the love card is about self-reflection, about balance, finding the love within yourself. Okay, so it can mean a partner. Like I said, it can be this wonderful thing about being a partner. But when you need to come in balance with yourself, into divine balance with yourself, that's when the Lovers card comes in. Because what it's telling you is that your cup needs to be overflowing. Okay, before you're giving out, you need to say no to every motherfucking thing. No, just keep saying no. Just keep saying no. 90 days of no. Like how Shonda Rhimes had like the year yes or whatever that shit was. You need to have like 90 days of no, 30 days of no. If you can even have 7 days, whatever you need to do in order to get yourself back into this place where when you look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? You know what makes it shake. And then you can add more things on. Sorry that I had to just yell at you about that. But I was
because I mean, I was having a hard time honestly trying to connect, you know, because I understand it doesn't always mean like, you know, people coming together or something like that. But I thought it meant something like maybe I should, I don't know, bring something in or make something like, you know, I don't know, bro. I wrote something down anyway, but that makes more sense.
The Lovers is all about, you know what I mean, your yin and your yang. So that's a good way to think of it whenever, even if you're doing a card and the person is asking about lovers, right? That man or that woman or that partner is the yin to your yang. You need to find your own inner yin and yang. And it sounds like first you need to stop, you know what I'm saying, overloading yourself, because you're draining yourself dry. You're killing yourself with it. Which is, you know, a common woman thing. And then you add being a Black woman on top of that. And then you add having kids on top of that. And then you add, you see what I'm saying? So it just continues on and on. So it's a process of that. But I like that the spirit is stalking you with that card to continue be like, look, you ain't got this yet. You ain't got this yet. Like, I'm not going to let you move until you hear what we say. And that's their love and loyalty to you.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, Shay, I'm done screaming at folks. I'll go gentle, baby. Oh, wait. I think you got a question, Jackie?
Yes, I wanted to ask it before I have to get off here in a couple minutes.
Okay, absolutely.
So, when I was pulling my cards, that first card that I pulled, I really didn't get to go really, really deep into what I was started seeing later. You know, as you grow and you study things, you get different revelations about what you're seeing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I saw some symbology with those white pillars and the sphere over his head with some other things. Is symbology and numerology another? Is it?
Yes, so
Okay.
that would be, so numerology and stuff comes in like a 201 class.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it looks like a divination on top of a divination.
Yeah,
It
because
just,
you have the numerology, you have seasons, you have timing, you have different things that you can still tell, and it's within the system of tarot. So yes, definitely. And if I were you, if those things
okay.
pop out at you, go ahead and write them down, because you can still look them up in the numerology book or online numerology.
Yeah, it was
You
more
know, if you kind of,
symbology. The numerology came too, but I was like, oh, but I didn't get to get into it. But I was just wondering. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Okay, Shay, I think we're ready now.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I finally made it.
Yes.
On YouTube, so I caught most of what everybody else was saying.
Okay, good.
I pulled my first card on last Tuesday, and it was the world.
Okay.
And so I felt like I got from that because I was asking the guides kind of where I am at this season right now, and I got that like everything is working together for my good, and that whatever I want, I just need to ask for it to stop being shy, to make sure I'm asking for what I want, and to embrace this journey that I'm on. And let's see, and that I'm ready and willing to do the work right now.
Perfect. So what I want you and Cray to do is to look at the hangman and look at the world. Well, everybody can do this who's able to.
Okay. You ready for my second card?
Wait, I want everybody to look at that card together.
Oh, gotcha.
So what do you all notice with the hangman and the world?
Just like anything, or well, he's fully clothed and she's not.
Okay.
I see vines and leaves and stuff.
Okay.
You want us to tell what's similar, or
whatever you see that you can glean from the similarities or differences in it?
This isn't the same person, is it? Oh, maybe not.
No. I see the purple, like the purple around the waist, and then the straight.
The symbol
like
in the right.
Go ahead.
The symbol in the right corner is also in the clouds, or is that on all of them? Never mind. That's on all of them.
Yeah. That little signature.
Yeah, I have something. I have something. I feel like the hangman is protected, like, because he's fully clothed. The piece of the fully clothed, and the other one being naked. Like one of the reasons that things come. I think the reason you said is victorious. So one of the reasons that things could come into balance is because you allowed yourself to be vulnerable. One of the reasons that the hangman needs to stay still is because he might need to work through that closeness.
Perfect. Yeah, everything that each one of you all said is perfect. So you have still the growth of the vines, right? But the growth of the vines in the world is so much more abundant than the hangman. The hangman, he's just now growing them. Second, the hangman is upside down in the exact same position as the world.
Oh, yeah.
He's able to get shit done. Remember, Shay is like, I asked for it and I get it. And Cray is like, I asked for this motherfucker, and like, where the fuck? I'm just sitting here. Exactly opposite. If y'all are paying attention to each other's stories, you will hear you all saying the exact same thing in opposite ways, right? You need to go and embody, within yourself, and she's going to open up and stop being shy and she's going to be vulnerable and put herself out there.
Yeah.
Right? So these are the kind of stories that you look at. You can start to see tarot cards together and be like, okay. And because eventually we're going to do 3 card spreads, right? So if we get this one and another card, you'll be able to line up the story. Okay, Shay, we're ready for the second one.
Okay, and so I did the second one on the 10th, which was 3 days later.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the cards, and I got the world again.
What?
Yeah, so I got 2 the worlds.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so and this one I got more to stay focused and to my circle small, watch kind of who I'm hanging around.
Okay.
That I'm keeping a tight rein on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's telling me that as far as me keeping focused, that whatever I want that's going to happen in my life is going to happen quickly.
Okay. Perfect.
Be prepared to receive it.
So tell me about, this is a really great study in what downloads and how did you feel differently from one day to another? Can you share that with the group? Do you remember?
Well, I know on the first day I felt, because I did it right after our class.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling more in tune.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the second day I just felt like an opening, pretty much a kind of more relaxed, open feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I pulled that card, it kind of surprised me that I got the same card.
Yeah, because it was still in alignment.
And yeah.
It's funny because it sounded like a lot of people in their second card were like, okay, let me, you know what I mean? They had that same kind of relaxed sense. They had more of a security in what they were doing. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I kind of got this a little bit. I did it the first time and I may have been a little bit nervous and I don't know what to ask and what to do. And the second time, like even with Cray, she was like, I got a whole load of stuff that I was like, I'm doing this now. I'm ready. Okay, so that makes sense. So everybody, now we're gonna go into, thank you all for sharing. Yay. Now we're gonna go into our minor arcana. So these are the important things that I would like you to take notes on. And if you're watching this again for whatever reason, the notes and the biggest things are that these are the 4 elements. It's so easy because it's the 4 elements. So earth, it's literally earth, wind, fire, like the group. Right? Yep, earth, wind, fire, and water. So earth is dealing with all things practical. It's dealing with your job. It's dealing with your money. It's dealing with your discipline at school. Anything that is disciplinary, it's earth signs, right? So the Virgos and the Capricorns of the world, those kind of very earthy, I get shit done, no fluff, 1 and 1 is 2. That's it. Next, you have your water. Your water deals with water signs. It deals with emotions. If you think about cancers, you think about emotions, you think about, happy and joyous emotions up and down, but no judgment on the emotion, right? Like some shit is up, some shit is down. It is what it is. It's all emotions. It's dealing with whatever is going on with you or your client emotionally. Your swords are dealing with your air. The air, I love this about tarot. This like validated so much for me. But the swords deal with anything from the head up. Anything intellectually. They call that the wind. You even think of people who just want to talk too damn much, fucking windbag. They're all in their mind. They always got something to say. It could amount to something, it couldn't. You know what I mean? These people are intellectual. These situations are intellectual. All of that deals with the wind. And the wind are the swords. So if you think about the swords just through the air, that's how I always think about it when I think about the, the element of the wind and how it deals with the swords and why they symbolize it as a sword. Just very, very analytical in all your air signs in the zodiac. So since a lot of you all are familiar with the zodiac, it's so easy to have those kind of references, because if I say, you're dealing with an Aquarius, we know that Aquarius is an air sign. The air signs, they may be a bit flighty, but they're very, very intellectual at the same time. So they'll believe in aliens, but they're going to study aliens at the same time. And the next one is fire, and fire is spirit. It's creativity. It's things that are downloaded to you from places you don't even know where it came from. It's the free spirits. It's the Sagittariuses of the world. Make sense? If you all have questions, know that you have the little chat on the side, just because we're about to go into some deeper things. So you can of course always just speak up at whatever time. But if you just had a question that you wanted to ask the whole group or whatever, I'll read the chats and I'll throw it out there for y'all too. So we are going to start with the air sign. So that's why I wanted you all, we're going to do our swords and our cups today. And we're still going to go in order. And the order of operations is really important. And it's what, again, makes it a system and makes it really, really awesome. Is because the 1 is the same in all the 1s, right? The 10 is the same for all the 10s. So it makes it so easy to follow the system. And then you still have pictures that still help you and guide you. But when you get the Ace of Swords, that means that it's the beginning of a thought for you. You just thought this up. You just intellectually discovered it. So the 1 and the Ace of anything, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of, or the 1 of, the Ace of Cups would be a new emotion. The Ace of, the Ace of Pentacles would be your Earth. That'd be a new way that you thought of to make money, or a new job that you thought that you should have. So we're at the Ace of Swords. So when you look at this, the thought here about the symbolism is that you got this thought out of thin air. It's just like, man, I was laying in bed one day and boom, it happened. And it feels fresh and it feels new. You haven't ruminated on it a whole bunch. It just kind of came to you and you're like, huh. And the spirit will tell you like, okay, you came up with this new thought, and then it'll carry on into a story with the rest of your cards. Or it'll tell you, you think you done thought on this. This shit just came out the air and you don't know nothing about what you're talking about. This is a brand new idea to you, given to you out of thin air. This is the one thing I did forget that you want to put in your margins. I start with the swords because they're the toughest of all the suits. They tough, y'all. So I start with the toughest ones, and I started with the what I call the sweetest and the kindest ones, just to try to bring balance into the class today. So these are the the swords, if you listen to any podcasts or anything like that, or even read any books on tarot, they'll tell you that the majority of these cards are just hell bent on your damnation. You get the swords and you're like, okay, let me, it's like a timeout. Like, let me sit myself down. Lord Jesus, what's about to happen? And the reason that I said that it was so exciting for me to learn is because it was important for me to get out of my head when I started tarot. You know, I was like, come out of that, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so by all of these kind of being ways that it's trying to shift you and pull you out of that Western paradigm, that's what I love so much about it. I was like, the swords come here to show you there's more to life than just what's in your brain. There's more to life than what they tell you about science. Science is spirituality all in one. It's a discovery of how all of this cosmos really works, right? And there's somebody curious enough to be like, something's going on, I don't know what it is. So that's what's going on with the swords. They're reminding you that you're so far up in here that you are not embodying the rest of everything that's going on in your life. You're not necessarily seeing the full picture. Okay. So the 2 is now you're now coming from a point where it's a new idea. So now you've come to a straight up crossroads. The crossroads is really interesting because you have the water behind you, fueling you with all this emotion. And that emotion is just making you more and more confused. You don't necessarily have to choose from the left or the right because there's nothing binding this woman's hands at all. Then she could literally unbind herself, put them knives down, unwrap her eyes, but she don't have it. She's got the moon at the top showing you that she doesn't have necessarily her full wisdom. She doesn't necessarily have her full wisdom here. She has her crescent moon. She has some that's going on there, but she's just at a crossroads. And she's just ruminating on it over and over again. She's just decided to literally sit in her worry. Sit in her, I'm not sure what I should do. So the 2 is like, man, like, shit or get off the pot. What you doing? All right. So then we have the 3. The 3 is really, really obvious. It means what it looks like. It means your heart has been broken. But with the 3, the reason that it's so important is that you see your heartbreak and you're actually on the mend. So you're not hiding anymore from what's going on. You see exactly what's going on and you know what's happening. So whenever I've gotten this for myself or I've gotten this for another person, for example, for me, housing is a big deal. Like I really like to live in really creative spaces. So sometimes I apply for those spaces and I don't get them. So when I don't get them afterwards, it will give me this to show me you saw that you didn't get it. It's okay. Let's just mend your heart and let's, move on to the next space. If you're in a relationship, it's the same thing. You're not like, oh my God, is he cheating? No, boo. He already done cheated, or you decided that the cheating didn't even matter. You just didn't want to be with him no more. And now you're just looking at it full throttle. That's the 3. You will see down the line, even within these cards, how if you get a different card, that means that you're like, it's like the 2. If you're wondering if a person is cheating, you are going to see that too, because you're kind of covering your eyes to the situation. There's other ones that even represent thievery, and thievery would be another sign of someone cheating or stealing from you. Oops, sorry, I'm not in order, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, now we have a 4. The 4 is very interesting because it harkens to the Hermit almost. So this person has been, the 4. Did I say the 4? Okay, good. All right. So the 4, this is a soldier. This soldier is in a church. He's not dead. He's just resting. So after all that heartbreak that you've gone through, now it's time for you to just rest. But you still have all your armor around you. And the reason his arms are up is because at any moment after he prays, he can put his hand right down, take up that sword, and start cutting motherfuckers. So this can either be seen as a calm before the storm. It can be seen as I worked really hard, but I need a temporary rest that can just help me to recharge myself. And in that, spirit is most likely asking you, because even if you look really, really close, you'll see that there's a priest here and there's someone praying and there's someone praying over someone, right? So it's the same situation where spirit is asking you, just please rest a little while. Let us take care of you for a minute. We know that you're ready to, you know what I'm saying, bust a move, make shit happen, make it, you know what I mean? All of that. But we need you just for a second, just to rest. Just be in prayer, you know, and just relax. Now we're at the fives. Fives are important. I want you all to write down that fives are super important to tarot because fives always mean stress and strife. And it does not matter what suit you're in. It's always going to mean once you get a five, shit is popping off in a way that you're not really going to be in agreement to. So in this five, what has happened is now we're in a place where you either had a battle or you think that you're getting away with something that you're not getting away from. They've seen you and they've turned their back on you. You even look at the guy's face. He thinks he got away with all of these swords, and no. Like they have their hands and they're walking away from him because they see that he's trying to steal. They understand that he's trying to steal things. So the things that you have been doing in the darkness have come to light. This is the card that I was saying if you're worried about cheating, if you're worried about somebody betraying you at work, if you're worried about something being done behind your back. This is the card that is either going to show your reflection of thinking about that or affirm that those things have been happening to you. You know, depending on how you ask the question. Now, Jasmine, we're at your card now. Because this 6 is an amazing card. It's saying that maybe you've been stolen from, maybe things have been hurting, maybe you're in a situation that you're ready to pull out from. You may have seen sorrow in your past, but now you're on the waters of forward movement. That's why the waters down here are moving. Because you are literally being carried from one point to another. So like I said, I really love new housing and new spaces. So when it's time for me to move to a new apartment, this will happen. When it's time for you to move on in your career, this is what's going to happen. Right? Because we're excited about moving into a new phase of our lives. But at the same time, we have things that we wish we could take with us. And they may not be able to fit in the boat. Just like I'm all any girl, yes, all the yeses. Okay. 7 and 8, same kind of situation. You got another thief in the temple. This time, there's no arguments about it. The other one, you had people in there. Y'all were arguing about whether or not, you know, you were having issues and conflicts. There's a lot of, is he doing it? Is he not doing it? Et cetera, et cetera. This one, he's walking right away with your shit and your goodies. Unscathed. Ain't worried about nothing. Ain't worried. So the other one, you had conflicts with the people. You was wondering why they was turning their back, et cetera, et cetera. This one, folks is just tippy-toeing right out and ain't worried about you. Whole festivals of love and lights going on behind fertile ground, all this shit. He's walking right away with all the stuff and ain't worried about nobody. He's trying to get as much stuff as he possibly can without nobody noticing him, and he's tippy-toeing on out. This is a huge, 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 huge betrayal card. There's no arguments about this betrayal. So is it clear the differences between the two? Between the 5 and the 7? So let me see if I can put it in an extreme, like an extreme level. So like the 5 would be in an extreme level, like domestic violence situation where you have to call the cops. You're wondering if that person is ever going to get right. Maybe this was y'all's first fight. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, why did he do this? What is happening? This one, the 7 is more like, oh, what do you say? Oh, it's more like Ike and Tina Turner. Like he'll whoop your ass and keep on walking and take all your money too.
Okay, I have a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be for either party, right? Like it could be for, let's say if you were like reading me and let's say it's a betrayal or whatever. And so one of these cards popped up. So it could pop up for me, or if somebody had betrayed me, it could pop up for them. We just have to like interpret as such.
Yeah. Okay. So
but there's not like a card where it'll be like specifically it's them or
so how that's able to be seen is through a lot of times you'll get a court card, and the court card, like you have a Queen of Cups, right? So the Queen would be a symbol of you or the person who has an energy that's emotional, right? And then it'll be in conjunction with this card.
Okay.
Also, it's just easy because you're going to be asking straight out. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So if you're doing it for a client, I always go neutral. So you or your partner is blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
You know, they gonna know. Oh yeah, that's both of us. Oh yeah, that is him. You see what I'm saying? That is her. Like it's just gonna be obvious. And people are not, they can be quiet, but they don't be quiet. You know what I'm saying? They might nod their head, but you still gonna know, like, okay, it ain't you. Or that confidence you got, like that is you. You thought you was getting away with that shit, huh? And then if you're reading it for yourself personally, you know what the fuck you doing. So that it just is what it is on that one. Okay. So now again, we're getting into the nitty gritty. The 8. The 8 deals with fear. The 8 deals with you personally binding yourself and feeling incredibly bound. It's a huge symbol of depression. Depression has many, many layers, right? It has the spiritual component, it has a mental component, it has a physical component, right? But when you're dealing with this, you see she's got her water, and her water seems very desert-like. You know, so she has some emotions, but her cup isn't running over, but she still has these feelings of like, you know, of despair. And intellectually, she can't even see her way out. She wishes she could take action with her red robe, but she's bound. She feels like there's nowhere to turn. Getting this card for yourself or others should really draw a space of compassion, because the person is in a really hard place. You could even see these, and I've seen it written that this is like a fence that's caged her in. And I would agree with that. She has the whole city behind her, but she can't turn around. She can't do anything. She feels just intellectually, she just can't go anywhere. And did we go to the 9? Oh, here it is, right behind it. And then the 9 is, again, a very self-explanatory. Almost every single time I get this card, it's literal. The person has been up all night crying. They spend time in the bathroom at work crying. I've gotten this when people just are in deep mourning for, either a love that they have lost, a family member or a close, person in their life that they've lost. Situations of deep depression where they fought it for months and months and they just still can't get out of it. And they usually have extremely valid reasons for being in this valley. Something has happened to them where it's really tragic and it's very, very difficult to get out of. So the last card could be seen as a level of worry and despair, but this one is like, you're past the worry and despair. You are literally up at night. You can't get any rest from these feelings that you have. And then the 10 of Swords is not only where there's a defeat there, but it's also, I've been beaten down. I give up. I'm done. I'm walking away. It is complete. The positives to this card for me are so much better than the 9, right? Because at the 10 in all the tarot, it starts the cycle all over again. Meaning that this person can now go to a 1 and they can now begin to start again. They can go through the death card and be reborn. So it's a deep place where they even at some level are getting relief. Okay, so once again, we're going to go into some, anybody have any questions about the 1 through 10?
Okay, so as far as like the 10 goes, would you look at that like as a surrender card, or would you just look at it like a okay? It
can be looked at definitely as a surrender.
Okay.
You could be beat down, you can be surrender. Either way, it's over.
Looks like extreme acupuncture.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Right. You can get relief. You're gonna get some healing after this. So I'm gonna go through these quartz really quickly. The Page of Swords are messengers. All pages are messengers. So you will get a message, a verbal message probably from somebody, or an email from somebody. The page, again, the swords are about communication. They're about anything above the head. So someone is giving you a real long, detailed message about blah, 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 or something that is like just super straight to the point. The pages are always messengers, and they can also mean a young person or a young child. So some of us know a young child who is always talkative. He's always got something to say. They always want to read a book. That's the Page of Swords in your life. So you would have to ask yourself, or you would have to ask your client, which one. A lot of times you're going to be intuitive enough to know whether it's a message because of what they ask you. So if a person asks you, you know, is the guy gonna call? Yeah, he's gonna call. Yeah, you're gonna get a message. You're gonna get an email from him, right? And then you'd have to read the other cards and see whether or not that was gonna be a positive for that person or a negative for that person. But if you get a page, then you could definitely be like, yep, a message is coming for you. The Knight. Knights are always in some type of movement. You want to notice what kind of movement they are. They are the teenager or the young adult. They're the teenager or the young adult. So in the Knight of Swords, this teenager or young adult, or the energy that comes through, is a person. Teenagers and young adults are known to be naive. They're known to make a lot of mistakes because they think they know everything. And this is across the board with all the Knights. Young, naive, think you know everything. You know, in this case, he moves swiftly. He thinks swiftly. He don't give a fuck about the mistakes he's making. You see that he has on his red, and his red is flowing in the wind. He's fearless. So the shit that comes out his mouth is probably reckless as hell. He gonna say what's on his mind when it's on his mind. He don't give a fuck who, if he hurts himself, anybody else. It just is what it is. And he's ready to take the punishment for it. Or he don't even know what the punishment is. The Queen of Swords, very calculating woman. Very calculating female energy. This always brings up, it's not a good thing, but this always brings up Omarosa for me for some reason. And I'm talking about before she got in the White House. Like, there's just this certain quality of bitchiness that somehow people are like in awe and admiration of. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense and sometimes it don't. So if you got a good one, that's good. But sometimes, you know. But as far as this person, I've gotten this in people's readings for their mothers because, you know, their mothers are straight to the point. They give them everything that they need, you know, but they may not give them what they want. Their mother is dependable. She's reliable. She's going to answer the phone every single time you call. But if you're calling crying, she's going to be like, baby, call me back when you get yourself together. And then we can have a conversation about it. And the conversation is going to be heady. And it's going to be about how to get the problem solved. Also, it's air signs. It's all your air signs. This is so accurate that you can even say, is your mama an air sign? And they'll say, yeah. Or if they don't know, you'll list them all and they'll be like, oh yeah, what date is that? Yeah. Yeah, my mama's birthday is January 15th. Oh, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. So the same thing with the king. Okay, so we discussed the king and the emperor in our major arcana cards. And so the same thing is happening. You've got kind of the super intellectual man that if you were on the phone before with Jackie was describing Justice as being a very, very intellectual, straight to the point kind of person. And that's the same thing. A lot of women like this kind of guy, right? They want him just to say what's on his mind, you know, get to the point. They're very, very attracted to this as a masculine energy more than they are in a feminine energy because, you know, again, women get called bitches and men are just like respected for the same exact thing. That's just what it is. So the King of Swords is, again, he's going to be a male that is in that air sign. He's going to be a male that is very, very smart, just like the woman is going to be very, very smart. Both of these people probably will have advanced degrees, or if they are into any kind of esoteric studies, they're constantly learning more and more and more esoteric studies that are like even beyond. You're like, who sits around and studies that shit? You know what I mean? Who breaks down the flower of life to the decimals? Like, that's the king and queen of swords. Those are the kind of things that they do. They're definitely your, neurosurgeon type people in the world. All right. Let's see. We got about 30 minutes. I'm going to try and go through these cups, but I don't necessarily want to rush them. And I also don't want to hold you up with time because that's super important. I know we started a little bit late, so you may have to give me another like 10 minutes at the end, just because it was a little hard getting all of us on the line, if that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So cups are wonderful, of course, until you get to the 5. But other than that, they're wonderful. Yeah, you can still hear us? Tanisha, you good? Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, so these are some wonderful, wonderful cards. The cups have a lot of, they give us a lot of security as women for what the things that we're thinking, saying, feeling, and acting on. Okay. And it can even tell you like you're just being too emotional about this situation, but it gives a lot of security in knowing that our emotions and the things that we're feeling in our bodies, in our minds, and in our spirits are valid. So the Ace of Cups, again, we're dealing with a brand new emotion that you've never felt. Maybe you saw somebody and you thought that was like the most awesome person that you ever met. You're in a new business venture and it just gives you butterflies feeling and thinking about this. All of those things. You've got the dove at the top, which is very important because he's bringing symbols of peace. So these emotions are amazing and fluttering. You've got your water trickling and overflowing. You got lily ponds because you've got so much fertile ground within there that things are just growing and spurting new life. And again, this feeling feels like it comes out of thin air. Like, oh my God, I never felt this. What I did. Oh, that was great. 2, this is another wonderful, wonderful lover's card. It's a lover's card in the true sense of emotional lovers. In the sense of balance. It's a wonderful friendship card. It's a good friendship card. Good. You get this card, you're looking at a good business partner. You're looking at a good trusted confidant. You're looking at a person who pours into you in the same way that you want to pour into that person. Although on the outside, it looks as if you would be opposites, right? And that's a lot of times how it works. Like you see that person in yourself and you're so excited about the balance that they bring. And then you've got the Leo up top in the wings, which is symbols of passion. Again, symbols of healing. So it's a wonderful, wonderful card of just balance and fertility. 3, this is all the television shows that you love about being a woman and being in celebration, right? So it's like Girlfriends, it's Living Single, it's Sex in the City. Like it's probably Insecure a little bit, but I don't know. They don't seem to celebrate as much. But anyway, it's all of those television shows that you've seen. It's all of those times that you want to really celebrate. I've gotten this when people are very, very serious and Spirit is asking them, please just go out with your friends and kick it. And the opposite, I've gotten this for a young man who was so busy fucking kicking it, he wasn't taking care of his family. So you doing team too much of this and you're not able to hold the fort down. So you can kind of see how, depending on the reading, how it will come out. but this is a sign of celebration with friends. It's about being out. It's about being jovial. It's about just raising your cup in the sky and having a wonderful, wonderful time, you know, with the friendships that you've already built. Or sometimes just saying, fuck it, I'm going out by myself and I'm just going to meet new friends. It's a great, great, great card if properly aspected, if you ain't kicking it too much, I guess. So now that you've kicked it so much, we've got the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, tell me what you see, Jasmine.
Okay, so it looks like it kind of reminds me like maybe they've just had enough. They don't want any more, or maybe they're just tired of being there. They're over it.
Yep. You, girl, when I say nail on the head, when I say I literally, you took every single word that I normally use to describe this. They are fucking over it. Don't give me no more of that shit you pulling out the cloud. I don't want no more of that. I got enough right here. This motherfucker is a spoiled brat. I've never gotten this card when a person was not being stubborn, that they've had enough, they ain't dealing with no more. I've gotten it in relationships where a woman was coming to ask me about a relationship, and I said, this man's not about to give you nothing more than what he already gave you. He refuses. And it doesn't matter what woman comes into his life, this is where he's at with his life. It could be 3 women, he don't want no more women. He don't want no more of that. He don't want no more coochie. He don't want no more nothing. He's done. Y'all done tapped him out. He's good. Or, and then even with her, she was like, she didn't want to pour into him because she already felt this stagnation. So a lot of times, if you're getting this, kind of like what Jasmine was saying earlier in her own reading, if she had gotten this, it would have been telling her, you're stuck in your ways. And now 5. Another self-explanatory 5. Cloaked in darkness. Your cups are spilled over. The good thing about this 5 is that you have these 2 cups that are still full. So even though you're facing the ones that are spilled, your hope is that you still have something left to journey on with. But your heart is so heavy. Your heart is so heavy. And it's an active heaviness. You see the red here, like there was wine in there. But again, we know that means action. You're standing on the banks of something that could be new and prosperous, but you just seem stuck. Okay, your head is down. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What's this bridge about? Because I think I remember seeing a bridge.
It's the same thing. He could cross over, right? He could go into the city. This is supposed to be the city over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he could take the choice of going into the city and being prosperous, but instead he sits on the bank and he's upset and sad.
Okay.
So I've gotten this card a lot of times in my personal life, and for just different things that I do, and it's like I still take from the 4 and that I'm stuck because I'm so busy looking at the things that I see as negative instead of taking the things that could be positive. And Spirit is trying to show me you have things here that you could still pick up. You got 2 hands, pick up both of them cups and walk on across the street and give your offering, or walk across the bridge or walk across the bank or get over to the other side. Can you see that, Tanisha? Can you see the okay. Six. We're back on fertile ground again. This one I know is going to be a little blurry for you, Tanisha. It's just a blurry image in and of itself. So this is still this is a very, 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 very fertile, joyful, happy. You had so much water and great things that now your cups are sprouting flowers. It's a time of sharing and of giving. It's a time where you've had so much and you're doing so many good things. You just feel like you're full of joy. And people receive you as such. Again, the city always means, in this case, cities for them meant prosperity. So you're not far away from the city. Now you are deep in the city. It's like you could turn around and just go right home. You just walk 2 steps. Seven is an interesting card. 7 deals with illusions. Every single one of these symbols, we don't have a lot of time, but I can write them out for you. Every single symbol here is very, very significant. It deals with your knowledge, it deals with your power, it deals with your wealth. But the most important thing about this card is that you have all of this going on in your mind, and Spirit wants you to pick something. You doing team too much. You thinking about all these ideas. You woulda, coulda, shoulda. I should have done this. I would have done that. Oh, if I could do this. All they're asking you to is zone in on one of your magical powers. One of your magical powers. And pull it down. So I think this is interesting because we're in the age of manifestation, right? And this is one of those wonderful cards that you can see that manifestation or this concept is not a new concept at all. It's a more ancient concept of when Spirit downloads things to you and you start getting all these ideas. You start ruminating on them. You have the magic to help to make them happen, but you just leave them in the illusionary world. You live your truth. Pick one and live your truth. Can somebody show me a 9? Somehow I lost my 9. 9. No, that's 8, right? That's not 9. That's the one I needed, though.
We're on 8, right?
Are we on 8?
Yeah.
That's 10. I'm looking at crazy. Okay, who? Are we on 8 or 9?
We just did 7, right? The one.
Right, we need to do 8. Okay, sorry. So that's 7. Yeah. Now we're on 8. Yes, because 8 should be the one where he's walking across. Okay, perfect. I'm not sure where my 8 is, and I apologize for that. But my 8, if y'all are looking at your cards, can somebody show? Tanisha, can you see their 8? So basically, the man is clothed in red. And he has 8 cups that runneth over behind him, though. So what's happening is you've left all of that shit behind and you're going on a new journey that you are so optimistic about. No matter what happened in your past, you don't give a fuck. You have moved over. This is called healing, baby. 8 is a wonderful, wonderful symbol for you progressing in your healing. That's perfect. Who just did that? Yeah, that's perfect. The 8 is about journeying on towards what your destiny is about and leaving all the things in your past alone. You stacked them up pretty and you ready to move on. So you've taken from the 7 all the things that you think are magical and real, and you're ready to let go of just those illusions. You're ready to let go of anything that has happened to you painful in your past. You've taken the rewards of what's been positive, either things that are negative, you done turn into a positive. You done put on your red cloak and you are ready to take your journey. You have your staff of spirit with you. And there are nothing but good things coming for you in your future, and you have the confidence in that. Now, 9 is such a wonderful follow-up to your 8, because this is where, and I don't have the card for that one either. I don't know. So somebody shows it. Yeah. The 9 is a beautiful, blissful place, again, where your cup runneth over. You can pick up any of those, but now your head and your heart and your body are in full alignment to rest in the abundance of your emotions. You're in a very, very happy place mentally. The even the turban here, which I think is an amazing symbol, because as African women, we wear our head wraps in protection and in celebrations. And that's exactly the same thing that's happening in this picture. He's wearing his red head wrap as a symbol of being in a active, healthy, crowned place. In the picture, he even has a smile in his face. There is such contentment in this. And then the 10, like, I don't even know how you could get, I mean, it's equivalent to the sun. I mean, it's just, this is the embodiment of not just you being happy, but your family being happy, those around you being happy, about true celebration, about true completion of your emotions, about reaching the goal that you've always been searching for and looking for. I don't know how much more elation, you know what I'm saying, that I could express, but it is such a total amount of happiness. You're not even alone anymore in this happiness. You are able to share it with others. So this isn't just a small party. This is the huge, you know, you've been initiated, the whole, everybody comes out. You're able to tell your parents and your kids and everybody is just so happy because they see what is going to happen, not only for them, but what's happening with you, what's happening with your auntie, what's happening with your best friend. Like, it's just everything that you are is just a magical glow. Okay, now we're into the court cards, correct? We're in our Page of Cups. So here you're getting messages about, you know, emotions or things that will make you emotional, or you've received a message that's made you emotional. It is that direct. You've got a child within you who is who cries easily, but who is also happy easily, who wears their heart on their sleeve. They're young and they're naive. This is one of the cards that may indicate that you want to get pregnant or that you have emotions around being a parent. Or you get messages that your partner wants to get, you know, pregnant or something like that. Knight of Cups.
And is there a significance in the purple belt on this one? I know most of them have on like a purple belt or something.
Mine is black.
Oh, yours black. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But purple is always seen, even in the tarot, is still seen as a royal space.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Knight of Cups. Does he have on a purple, something purple too in yours? Okay. Just shout that out if it is, just because I think that they've turned all mine to black, just probably from being copied over and over again.
Oh, okay. No, there's no purple on mine.
Okay. So this Knight of Cups, if you remember our other Knight of Cups, our Knight of Swords, you see the differences in our horses? That's one of the symbols that I wanted you to recognize. What are the horses doing? The horses are always about movement. Remember the Death? He has his up like that too. So the horses are always meaning some type of movement. So he's going a little slower than Swords. He still wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a very emotional young person. He has certain, if you even look at this, you can even see the differences in their honor, in their integrity. You can even see in the way that they hold themselves and how their caps are. This one is going full throttle. He don't got nothing around his, you know what I'm saying, around his chin. He don't have no type of chin guard on. This one, he's a little bit more protected. He goes a tad bit slower. He's steady. You know, he's got a journey that is more, it has a more lush scenery. than this one. Excuse me. This one has less lush. This one has more lush.
I have a question.
Symbolize. I'm sorry.
So I noticed that like he has the fish and the waves on his armor, but on his helmet and also on his feet, he has the wings. Does the wings stand for anything specific?
Yeah, because it still has that angelic emotion. So do you remember so we had the angel wings in a lot of different symbols, and each time it was bringing messages of some type of divineness. So was it I think it was the lovers. He has they have that big, huge angel with the red wings.
Yeah.
And then earlier we had the Leo's lion head, which was the passion for the Two of Cups. And that had the wings. So it's the same type of symbolism to bring in like the heavenly bodies type of thing. So the emotions here. So the emotions here, again, it's kind of hard not to harp on pregnancy, but I think that I don't mean it in a literal way. I mean it in the way that there's just this cosmic sense, when you like, how do you fucking get pregnant? Like, I know the science behind it, but like you create a whole person, right? And so the cancers have that same, and there's some type of emotion and everything involved. So you still have the same thing here. He still has his emotions and it still has this heavenly kind of body. And that's why he is more naive than most when it comes to his emotions. He's going to be open about those things. He's a male, but he still has this open-ended emotion. Is Gemini a water sign? No.
No, it's Pisces.
It's Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio.
And Scorpio.
Okay. All right.
Can you explain the fish? I know in the page of cups, the fish was in his little cup that he had in his hand.
Yeah. And that's what I meant by the symbol of like fertility and messages of fertility. That's why I'm sorry I didn't say that exactly direct.
Okay.
So that's what that little, that's what the little fish still symbolized.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're at the Queen and the King. So the Queen of Cups is very loving. She's very gentle. She's emotional. She's caring for you. She's taking time. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. When it was explained to me, they told me that this was a chalice. Right? And like, water in her chalice. But I feel like it's more intricate than that. So y'all have to give me feedback on that if y'all see anything on the internet that like makes sense to you about her chalice. But she is very loving, very kind, very gentle. The difference though between her and the other ones is that she really thoroughly understands her emotions. She understands where she's taking them. The Knight did not understand that. She really gets who she is and how she presents in the world and where those emotions get her. And she also has mastered them. The King of Cups, I love to think of this as like that super nurturing grandfather. That grandfather that takes you everywhere he goes. Everybody loves him. He's always giving somebody candy. You know what I'm saying? He's always giving people the money out of his pocket. He cares about the community. He probably gardens. You know what I'm saying? He's out there with you just gardening. He wants you to be everywhere that he is. You are you brought about by being born the softness in him, but he was already soft. Like he cried when you went to kindergarten as your grandfather, as your dad. He just was just like, that's my baby and I just can't you got older and was like, stop all that crying. You can't be crying in public. But that's a part of his manhood. Like he truly understands the balance of his emotions. and he is totally comfortable in them. So let's say you get a Knight of Cups, but you're dating somebody, or you're dealing with somebody at work, and I say to you, you're dealing with an emotional person at work. I'll be able to tell you which one is you're dealing with. Here, you're dealing with a boss at work, male or female, whose energy is just reckless, and they're emotional and they don't know what to do with their emotions. And sometimes they make mistakes based on their emotions. And then I'll say, oh, you're dealing with a boss at work who really, really cares for you and is able that when you come and tell them something, are able to not only nurture you, but also fix the problem, you know, with you emotionally. They see deeper into you than just what you're saying. They know what you feel, and they're able to fix that based on how they tuned in with your feelings. Make sense? Okay, so what I want you all to do, oh, we still got 4 minutes. Okay, so what I want you all to do is for homework for these questions. I think it's going to be great to pick out. You're still going to have to do your 2 readings. You can do your 2 readings with all of your cards that you've learned so far. So you can shuffle them and pick them out. And I want you to pick out 2 symbols that you didn't understand. And when you research them, just copy and paste them and throw them in that Facebook. Because I can guarantee whatever is happening with you, somebody else has that same question, and we all want to learn it. So dig a little bit deeper into the symbolism and just kind of see what they mean. That does not include your readings, right? So those are 2 separate assignments. It's not that you're going to shuffle your cards, get something, and then pick a symbol out of that. No, those are 2 separate assignments. You're still going to do your own personal readings. And then you're going to pick out 2 symbols in the tarot that we've gone through so far that you didn't, or you had a question about, or you just wanted more clarity. So for example, with Shay with the purple, that stuck out to her. So let's see what that purple meant, because I couldn't answer that because on mine, it was always black. And then I have so many other decks that the purple isn't consistent. So I think that because that was asked more than once, the purple would be a perfect thing to look up. So there are going to be some really, really good sources for you to look those up. Biddy Tarot is one of the best ones that I've seen so far for looking up the symbolisms of things. So that will be my top choice. And then after that, when you Google it, it's going to be pretty consistent from that point on.
What was your top choice again?
Biddy Tarot. I'm going to type it in here. I hope y'all can see it. Can y'all see this? Y'all can't see it on the side? Oh, you can? Okay. So Biddy, BIDDY, tarot.com. Another good thing, there are other cards that, like, just a little clue. There are other cards that deal with pregnancy. There are other cards that deal with marriage. You know what I'm saying? So even kind of those things, you'll start to kind of, when you start to look up some of these symbols, you'll start to see them connect.
So you want us to do a reading with all the cards, even like the major arcana as well?
Yep.
Or just this one? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you know what you're dealing with, right? So you know that you're dealing with your emotions and your intellect. So you can still do a blind draw, just see what spirit has, or you can say, what is my emotion around this? What am I thinking around this? Just to kind of help you out a little bit on that end. But you don't have to. You can just ask a question and spirit's going to tell you regardless. So the next 2 classes, we're going to go over the last 2. We're going to have some homework for that deals with ritual. And then the last class, we're going to do readings for each other totally. That's going to be the class, is like sitting in on each other's readings. So that's why the homework is really important, because you're going to be put on the spot at the very last class. There's going to be 2 full hours of us giving each other readings and adding in what we can, right? So if we're reading for each other, the others of us are going to be like, yeah, but I see this too. And then there's going to be like a closing ritual as well. Cool? All right, so I'm going to stop the broadcast. Once I stop the broadcast, and I'm going to be able, once it loads and everything, then y'all have the video. And this is how we're going to meet from here on out. So just be aware that this is like going to be the format. We're going to go on YouTube Live. There's going to be a link, and you guys are going to be able to call in. I mean, or be able to like log in. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.